Hey guys, it's Natalia and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I made Caden's baby food purees. So when he was around 5.5 months old, I started doing this because for some reason he did not like baby food out of the jar. We would give him like real sweet potatoes and then I would go to the store, buy baby food sweet potatoes and try to give it to him, and he would just refuse to eat it and spit it out. I don't know what about the already made baby food he didn't like, but he didn't like it. So I had to make him baby food purees for about 5 months until he like transitioned to eating solids. Okay. So I'll just give you a little backstory. I would get off work, come home, and then I would drive like 15 minutes into the other town to go to 14 Carat, which is an organic food store. And on Thursdays, they would have a sale like 30% off the produce. So even though it was organic, so technically it's more expensive with the discount, it was pretty affordable. I would end up buying him like a month's worth of food for about $25. Sometimes like if you sign up, you'd get like $5 off of $25 coupon or something like that, or you would accumulate points after you signed up for the rewards program, so I would get money off that way also. So it really wasn't that bad, and I really didn't have an option because he wouldn't eat baby food. So with this whole quarantine going on and people literally going nuts, and I heard in some states that people literally took all the baby food off the shelves, and I can't imagine that would be very stressful for some people. But I'm going to explain to you how to do it, and I know that a lot of frozen food is gone also, but you can do this with fresh food. It takes a little bit longer to do, it's a little bit more annoying to do, but you can still make your baby some food. I'm just going to go through the whole process step by step with everything. So when you're first introducing foods, you want to introduce one new food at a time, so every couple of days. So with Caden, I would introduce like one new thing for like a week, and then I would introduce another different thing for like a week just to make sure that he wasn't having any allergic reactions, because if you introduce too many new things and there is a reaction, you're not going to be able to tell which one the reaction was actually from. So you want to like space it out. I think like technically you only have to wait like 3 or 4 days, but I would push it out more towards like a week for him just to make sure he was okay. For purees, you basically can do it with any food or vegetable. You just want to make sure that you peel it first, and also make sure that there is no seeds. So you have to take the seeds out before you puree it as well. For the fruits that I started with apples, bananas, pears, peaches, mangoes when they were in season, and avocado. I never made him avocado by himself, but I did mix the avocado with the banana, and he did enjoy that for breakfast a lot. So basically, I would start with those 5, and then I would mix 2 of them together. So I do like apples and bananas together, or like pears and peaches together, once he had already gone through and I knew that he was fine eating both of the fruits by themselves. And then the same for the vegetables. I started with sweet potatoes, carrots, peas, and squash. He really liked yellow squash for some reason. Yeah, so I would do everything individually, and then I would get like the frozen bags of like peas, carrots, and it has like another vegetable, and it was easy to do that because it was already put together. So all you had to do was heat it up and then put it in the blender. So it was a little bit quicker doing the frozen food, but I know frozen food is a little scarce at this point, so you're just gonna have to buy the fresh. Okay, so that was all the like basic fruits and vegetables that I started with. But of course you can do any fruit or vegetable. Like I said, just make sure there's no seeds and no like outside rind on it. Okay, so then I would just peel whatever fruit or vegetable. I would heat up a pot on the stove, and I would heat it up for like 10 minutes just to make it a little bit softer, and then I would put it into the blender. They do make obviously like the baby food blenders, but why go out and buy that if you already have a blender at home? So I would just use this little thing and fill it up, and then you want to add, once you fill it up like this much with the fruit and the vegetable, you need to add at least probably a cup of water. You'll be able to tell if there's enough water in here because when you put it onto the blender and puree it, it's not going to puree because it doesn't have enough liquid in it. So if it doesn't have enough liquid, all you have to do is just add more water at a time until it actually purees and is like flowing like evenly through the cup. It would have been a lot more time efficient to use this, but we lost the top somehow before we ever even used this. So if you have this, it'll make everything a lot quicker. You're obviously going to need to add more water than like a cup like from this. So just play with it. Once you do it a couple times, you'll figure out how much water you actually need. So once you're done pureeing it, you're going to want to pour it into the trays. So first I started with regular ice cube trays. I got these from the dollar store, so it was like 2-pack for $1. But then I went to TJ Maxx and I found this, which is like double the size of a regular ice tray in one block. So instead of eating like 4 or 5 of these, he would just eat 2 of these. So I mean, I would literally have like 10 trays by the time I was done doing this. But I found these at TJ Maxx. They were on clearance for like $2. They are from the brand Joey. If I can find it, I'll leave a link in the description box for you guys. I also did see these at Walmart in like the silicone trays, so it's easier to pop it out. That brings me to another thing. So once you pour the puree in here and then freeze it, this whole thing is going to be frozen, and you're probably, if you just try to like pop it out like this, you might end up cracking the trays. That happened a couple times. So what you want to do is just like put aluminum foil over it when you're freezing it, and then when you're trying to take cubes out, just run the cubes that you're trying to get under hot water. That way they kind of like easily pop out. So just heat it under hot water for like 15 seconds, and then you won't crack the trays when you're trying to get the cubes out. Another thing, I would also label the top of the aluminum foil with the fruit or the vegetable that was actually in there, because sometimes the purees look very similar, like the sweet potatoes and the carrots. I really couldn't tell the difference just looking at the tray. So make sure you label them. Okay, so you want to pop out the cubes when you're ready to eat them, and then heat them in the microwave for like 30 seconds to a minute, depending on how many cubes you have heating up. So when you do the fruit purees, it turns very, very liquidy after you heat it back up from the microwave, so you're gonna need to add some rice cereal to it. I ended up getting him the probiotic one because he would get very constipated. So this just helped keep him more regular. Of course, when you're heating up the vegetables as well, you're gonna need to add some rice cereal to that as well, but you're gonna notice that you need less for the vegetables than the fruits. I think that's everything that I wanted to say in this video. If you are having a hard time finding baby necessities, I am so sorry that you are having that stress on your life right now, because it's a little unnecessary if people stop buying things in bulk for like 6 months. Like, save some for the other people. But if not, I hope this video helped explain what you can do to make food if you either have a picky eater or if your grocery stores are sold out. Yeah, basically I would take like an hour and end up making a whole bunch of trays, and then the trays would last me about a month, sometimes longer, depending on how much food I made. And yeah, when he was around 5 or 6 months old, he would have like a bottle in the morning, then food, then a bottle, then food. So it kind of helped spread out the amount of breast milk that he was needing. So I was able to store up a couple bottles that way in the freezer. to have a supply if I needed to do something. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or if I forgot to mention anything, I will leave it in the description box down below. I will link everything that I mentioned, the ice cube trays and the blender, in the description box down below. If you enjoyed this video or if you learned anything, make sure to give this video a like. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!